You wake up. Not tired exactly, but not energized either. There's no sharp pain, no dramatic symptom that sends you rushing to the doctor. Just a kind of slow fading. You sit on the edge of your bed and take a breath, feeling the weight of the morning not in your chest but somewhere deeper, quieter, like a battery that won't hold its charge the way it used to. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to wonder if this is just how aging is supposed to feel. A steady decline. A slow slipping away from the man you used to be. You're not alone in that feeling. And you're not wrong for asking the question. Because the truth is, your body is changing. But that doesn't mean it's giving up on you. What if I told you that some of the strength you feel slipping away isn't gone for good, but simply waiting to be nourished in the right way? That sometimes, what feels like age is really a signal. A quiet message from your biology that it's hungry for something you might not even know you've lost. I want to tell you about a man named Frank, 67 years old, retired electrician, lived with his wife just outside of town. He came into my office on a Wednesday morning, wearing a plaid shirt that had seen better days and a tired look in his eyes. Not the kind of tired that comes from a late night, but something deeper. He sat across from me and said, "Doc, I don't feel sick, but I sure don't feel alive either." He wasn't in pain. His heart checked out fine. His blood pressure was holding steady. But he'd stopped walking the dog, stopped tinkering in the garage, stopped laughing as much. "I'm just not myself anymore," he said. That hit me, because I've heard it before. And I knew where to look. I ran a few labs, not to chase disease, but to see if his body was quietly running on fumes. And sure enough, we found some things. Not dramatic red flags, but silent shortages. Little gaps in the foundation. Deficiencies in the very nutrients that fuel energy, blood flow, and drive. Things most men don't realize they're missing until the spark dims. What struck me most about Frank wasn't just the numbers on his blood work, but the way those silent shortages were woven into the fabric of his daily life. The moments that didn't make the headlines, but made all the difference. He described how simple tasks that once felt effortless now carried a subtle resistance, like walking through water instead of air, getting out of a chair, climbing the stairs, even holding a conversation without feeling drained midway through. These weren't dramatic changes. They were whispers of decline, easy to overlook, but impossible to ignore once you notice them. Frank told me about mornings when he'd wake feeling heavier than usual, not just in body but in spirit. "It's like the fire's there," he said, "but the kindling's all wet." That image stayed with me because it captures exactly what so many men experience. A desire to engage, to be active, to feel alive, but an internal exhaustion that dulls the edges of intention. This isn't weakness. It's biology struggling under layers of deficiency and age. Digging a little deeper, we discussed how these vitamin shortages don't just affect energy or muscle strength, they reach into every system, subtly shifting the balance of hormones, brain chemistry, and cardiovascular health. For example, low vitamin D isn't just about weak bones. It plays a role in regulating testosterone levels, which in turn influence mood, motivation, and even the quality of morning erections, a deeply personal measure of health and vitality for many men. Vitamin B12 deficiency, beyond causing fatigue, can also create neuropathic symptoms, numbness or tingling in the hands and feet, that can quietly erode confidence and comfort, making simple pleasures feel frustrating or out of reach. I shared with Frank how magnesium, often overlooked, acts almost like the body's natural relaxant. It helps muscles recover after exertion, calms the nervous system, and supports restful sleep. Without enough magnesium, the body stays in a heightened state of tension, which may explain the restless nights and morning stiffness he described. This cycle of low nutrient levels leading to poor rest and increased fatigue can trap men in a loop that's hard to break without intentional support. What Frank needed wasn't just a list of vitamins or a new prescription. He needed to understand how these nutrients connect to his lived experience. The tiredness that wasn't laziness. The aches that weren't just getting old. The mental fog that wasn't a personal failing. He needed to reclaim the narrative of his body as a partner, not an enemy, and to see these vitamin gaps as clues pointing the way back to balance. As we talked, I encouraged him to view supplementation not as a quick fix, but as a kind of kindness to his body, a deliberate act of care that acknowledges the changes of aging without surrendering to them. This isn't about chasing youth, I said. It's about respecting your biology and giving it what it truly needs to function well. Frank nodded slowly, the relief in his eyes telling me that for the first time, he felt seen. Not just as a patient with numbers on a chart, but as a man ready to take gentle, informed steps toward feeling himself again. This conversation illuminated a crucial truth. Vitamins are more than just molecules or labels. They are the building blocks of energy, the threads of resilience that weave through muscle, mind, and heart. When we nourish these threads, we don't just add days to life, we add life to days. And that is the real medicine. Here's what many people forget. Your body doesn't need to be broken to be depleted. It can still move, still function, still show up every day. But like a car with low-grade fuel, it won't perform the way it used to. Especially after 60, when your system becomes more selective, less efficient at pulling in what it needs. You may eat well. You may take a multivitamin. But that doesn't mean your cells are getting what they need to thrive. There are 3 vitamins, simple, foundational, that I find again and again in men like Frank. Not exotic, not hyped up miracle pills, just the quiet essentials that help your body do what it's built to do. And when you restore them, things can change. Not overnight, but steadily. Energy returns, focus sharpens, muscles respond, and something else harder to measure starts to come back. That feeling of being you again. Before we talk about those specific vitamins, I want you to understand something important. After 60, your body's relationship to nutrients shifts. The stomach produces less acid, which makes it harder to absorb B12 and magnesium. Sunlight conversion into vitamin D slows down. Certain medications like antacids, blood pressure drugs, and statins deplete your stores even further. You may be eating the same meals you always have, but the uptake, the absorption, the availability is no longer the same, and that's not your fault. It's just biology, but biology can be supported, replenished, rebalanced. Now, I know some men feel a little skeptical when we talk about supplements, and that's fair. There's a lot of noise out there. Bottles making big promises, influencers pushing the latest trends. But I'm not here to sell you hype. I'm here to tell you what I've seen work again and again in real men with real lives. Men who aren't chasing youth, but who want to feel like themselves again. Steadier on their feet, clearer in their mind, stronger in their body. Let's start with vitamin D3. This one's big. And not just for bones, like you've probably heard. Vitamin D3 is a hormone-like nutrient that plays a crucial role in everything from immune function to testosterone production to mental clarity. Without enough of it, the whole system starts to feel sluggish. Men with low D often describe a flatness. Not sadness exactly, but a lack of drive. They lose their edge, their initiative. It's like the gas pedal still works, but the engine doesn't respond. Frank's D levels were well below optimal when I first checked them. He hadn't spent much time outside that winter, and like many older adults, his skin wasn't synthesizing sunlight the way it once did. We started him on a modest dose of D3, with a little K2 added in to help guide calcium into the bones and out of the arteries. Within a few weeks, he told me he felt more awake during the day, not bouncing off the walls, just engaged again, present. That may sound small, but for a man who felt like he'd been moving through fog, it was everything. Next up is vitamin B12. Think of this one as your body's ignition switch. It helps convert food into usable energy, supports red blood cell production, and protects your nerves from fraying with age. But here's the catch. B12 needs stomach acid to be absorbed, and after 60, acid levels drop. Add in a proton pump inhibitor or 2, those common heartburn meds, and you've got a recipe for slow, silent deficiency. The signs? Numbness in the hands or feet, brain fog, fatigue that doesn't improve with sleep, even subtle mood changes. Some men brush these off as just getting older, but they don't have to be. Frank's B12 was right on the border of low, not dangerously so, but low enough to make a difference. We switched him to a sublingual form of methylcobalamin, which absorbs directly into the bloodstream without needing to pass through the stomach. It's a tiny change, but over the next month, he reported fewer drops in energy throughout the day. He was more motivated to move, more inclined to get up off the couch and take the dog out even when it was chilly. That's the thing about B12. It doesn't make you feel like Superman, it just gives your body the tools to show up for your life. And the third one I want to talk about today is magnesium. Quiet, underappreciated magnesium. This mineral is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Things like blood sugar control, muscle function, sleep regulation, and yes, testosterone production. When you're low on magnesium, you might feel restless at night. You might get muscle cramps or notice your blood pressure creeping up. You might feel wired, but tired, exhausted, yet unable to fully relax. Most men don't get enough magnesium from food alone, especially if they're eating a modern diet, and it doesn't help that stress, physical or emotional, burns through your reserves faster. Add to that the use of diuretics or certain diabetes medications, and the deficit grows. Frank had trouble sleeping. He'd fall asleep fine, but wake up at 2 a.m. and lie there, staring at the ceiling. His legs would twitch. His mind would race. We added a gentle dose of magnesium glycinate in the evenings, easy on the stomach, well absorbed. Within a couple weeks, he was sleeping more soundly. That alone changed his mood, his patience, his willingness to engage with the day ahead. Here's what I want you to hear. These aren't exotic compounds. They're not secret biohacks. They're simple building blocks your body still depends on, maybe now more than ever. And while no single vitamin will reverse the aging process, together they can restore something essential: your capacity to function, to feel, to live with more clarity and strength. And here's the real beauty of it. When you give your body what it truly needs, not what's trending, not what's flashy, but what it quietly lacks, it responds, not instantly, but steadily. Like a plant finally getting water after a long dry spell. The leaves lift, the color returns, and you remember on some deep level what vitality feels like. You may be thinking, okay, this sounds good, but where do I start? How do I know what I'm low in? Do I need to get tested? Do I have to take all three? Those are smart questions, and they deserve a thoughtful answer. Let's take a moment to breathe here, because this is the midpoint, and it's where many men feel a quiet sense of hope. You're not imagining the changes, you're not just getting old, your body may simply be asking for the right tools. In the second half of this video, we're going to talk about how to integrate these vitamins into your life in a way that feels natural, not like a burden. I'll share how to get tested, what forms to look for, and how small changes in routine can lead to big changes in how you feel day to day. Because you're not done yet, not by a long shot. And the next chapter? It begins with what you do next. There's a common misconception that once you hit a certain age, you have to accept a steady decline as inevitable, that your best days are behind you. But the truth I've witnessed again and again is far more hopeful. You can reclaim parts of yourself that feel lost, not by chasing youth recklessly, but by nurturing the foundation beneath everything. Your body's basic nutritional needs. You don't need a shelf full of pills or a complicated regimen. You need the right tools, used wisely, to help your body do what it's designed to do. Starting small is not just practical, it's powerful. I often tell my patients, no one needs a cabinet overflowing with supplements. What you need is a rhythm, a daily habit that supports your biology rather than battles it. This means pairing supplements with meals for better absorption, choosing forms that your body can actually use, and being mindful of how medications and lifestyle factors influence your nutrient levels. For example, vitamin D3 is fat-soluble, which means taking it with a meal that includes some healthy fats, like olive oil or avocado, can help your body absorb it better. Magnesium, especially forms like glycinate or citrate, is gentle on the stomach and more bioavailable, making it easier to take consistently without discomfort. B12, in its methylcobalamin form, can be taken as a sublingual tablet that dissolves under your tongue, bypassing the digestive system for better absorption. But beyond how and when to take these vitamins, the bigger picture is about listening to your body and making adjustments that fit your life. This might mean setting a simple reminder on your phone to take your supplements with breakfast or pairing them with a glass of water after brushing your teeth at night. It's about creating small, sustainable habits that build momentum over time. Testing your levels through blood work is another step that can be invaluable. Knowing where you stand with vitamins D and B12, or even checking magnesium levels through indirect markers, can guide your choices and give you a clearer picture of what your body truly needs. Talk to your doctor about these tests. It's a conversation worth having, especially if you've noticed changes in energy, mood, or physical function that don't seem to have another clear cause. And here's an important reminder: food comes first. Supplements are exactly what the word says: something to supplement, not replace. Eating a balanced diet rich in leafy greens, nuts, fatty fish, and colorful vegetables can provide many of these nutrients naturally. But as we age, even a good diet may not be enough on its own, which is why thoughtful supplementation becomes a gentle but vital support. As you begin to rebuild your nutritional foundation, it's natural to notice more subtle shifts beyond just physical energy. Better sleep, improved mood, sharper focus, and even a renewed sense of confidence often follow. This isn't a coincidence. These vitamins support your body's complex systems: the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, the hormonal pathways that work quietly behind the scenes to keep you strong and steady. Frank's story comes back to mind here. After a few months of adjusting his vitamin D, B12, and magnesium, he was no longer the man who felt like a shadow of himself. He was out in the garden again, taking his dog on longer walks and even picking up old hobbies with a new spark. What struck me most was the light returning to his eyes, the subtle but unmistakable sign that the man I'd met months before was coming back. There's something deeply human about that journey, about reclaiming vitality in a way that feels authentic and earned. It's not about turning back the clock, but about moving forward with intention and respect for your body's evolving needs. And maybe you're wondering if this process is worth it, if the effort will pay off. I can tell you this: investing in your health in these small, consistent ways is a gift that keeps giving. It's not just about feeling better today, but about preserving your independence, your ability to engage with the people and activities you love for years to come. This is about more than vitamins. It's about dignity, about standing a little taller, breathing a little deeper, and stepping into your days with purpose. It's about knowing that you're not just a number or a statistic, but a man with stories yet to be written, with moments yet to be lived fully. If this message has resonated with you, I encourage you to take the next right step, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's picking up a bottle of vitamin D3 or scheduling a blood test with your doctor. Maybe it's simply paying attention to how you feel each morning and making a promise to yourself to do a little better tomorrow. Every journey begins with a single choice. If you found value here, please consider subscribing for more insights and practical advice tailored for men like you, men who want to age with strength, clarity, and purpose. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the encouragement another man needs today. Remember, you're not alone on this path. The man behind the labs, the medications, the routines. I see you. I understand the quiet struggles, the daily victories, and the deep desire to live fully. It's never too late to nourish your body and your spirit. You have more road ahead, and it's worth walking with your eyes open and your heart steady. From my desk to yours, thank you for spending this time together. I'm Dr. Michael Hanks, and I believe in the strength still within you. Let's keep moving forward. One small step, one essential vitamin, one renewed moment at a time.